what is next for the Cincinnati Bengals here? What is their biggest need right now? What do they really need to do in order to get back to the AFC Championship or overall get to a second Super Bowl? And Joe Burrow's, 3 full years of being a starter don't really include the first year because of the injury. Well, let's just start with what we all say when we talk about the damn Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, yeah, their offensive line. They gave up 55 sacks, which was third most in the NFL last year. They gave up 44 sacks. Gave up 55 sacks. 55 sacks, which was third most in the NFL the year before. And then they gave up 44 sacks this year, which was an improvement. And that was 11th most in the league. So again, not great. The O-line clearly still needs work if they want to have these sustainable, dynasty-like runs in the playoffs and a prosperous career for Joe Burrow, because I think it's an absolute blessing that Joe Burrow is actually still out there right now, playing so well for Cincinnati, after the knee injury. And he had a lot of great rehab. I remember Colin Cowherd asked him on the show, hey, did you have any doubt at any moment that you were going to come back? And Joe said, no. The window's my whole career. I can't get over that, man. Joey B. Got to say this is the number one priority, though, for Cincinnati here in the offseason. Joe Burrow is going to have to get that help on the offensive line. I do think that the defense was fairly solid. They were 6th overall in defensive points per game this year. The passing defense can tighten up, I will say that. And the secondary, I feel like, should be prioritized as well in this offseason, but definitely nothing. I feel like my mic is a little low. Am I too loud there? No, I might just be going. Let's see. I think I might just be going blind to it. Yeah, because it's so clear. Can't tell. All right. So how do they get back here next year? Well, all you Bengals fans, listen up. Shout out Megan Mulvey. I know you're a Bengals fan. I know there's a couple other ones out there, but I can't remember. They are 5th overall in cap space available this year with $34 million. So that's a very advantageous position for Cincinnati right now. The O-lines that are free agents this year, and I know these are going to be some big names. If we're like, Adam, they can't even trade for them. What are you talking about? Da-da-da-da. We're talking about Cincinnati that Joe Burrow has the franchise record for playoff wins already. I want to say he was 5 wins, 4 wins, 6 wins, something like that. I know for a fact, though, that he is the leader in Cincinnati Bengals playoff history for wins. But look, we got Jason Kelce, who's going to be a free agent. I get it. Big lineman, best. Philly's probably not going to let him go if they win the Super Bowl. And even if they don't, he's Jason Kelce. You've also got Mike McGlinchey. You've also got Orlando Brown Jr. They are all free agents. And 2 of those guys are obviously in the Super Bowl right now. In terms of secondary, like I mentioned as well, we've got names like Marcus Peters, Jordan Poyer, James Bradbury, Adrian Amos, Devin McCourty, more free agents for the secondary out there. And again, it's going to take some work. It's going to take some talking to teams. It might take some draft capital. It might take some players, whatever the case may be. Hell, trade them cash if you have to. I don't know, right? Like give them some Skyline chili or whatever the hell you have to do in Cincinnati, right? To be able to get a player, because here's the biggest thing, right? I feel like the NFL's formula right now is you draft your franchise guys. Some of your big impact players can either come you draft your big impact players, your franchise guys in the NFL draft, your Joe Burrows, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, and then you go get your supporting cast and your final pieces in free agency, like a Trey Hendrickson, played his life out in New Orleans to get himself that contract, like a Ted Karras, like an Alex Kappa. And I feel like this is the first time for Cincinnati to pounce on this free agent market. The division could be pretty good next year if you actually take a look at it. Deshaun Watson with the Browns could return to form. The Steelers have a lot of promise in their team. Shout out to you, Ryan Allen. Go tell Ryan I'm actually talking good about his Steelers on my first show. And I mean, like they are. Kenny Pickett is not looking too bad. You've got Mike Tomlin. You've clearly got that defense. Never had a losing season, so they could come back. Let them make a couple moves. I didn't look at their cap space, but let them make a couple moves, and you'll be able to see possibly what happens there. With the Steelers. And then we have the Ravens who, in my opinion, overall, outside of the whole Lamar Jackson contract situation, they're very well ran and they could get it together at any moment with Lamar and company. Or Cincinnati can make a move and truly emerge and separate themselves in this conference, in this division, in the NFL. They're in the conversations of the Chiefs and the Bills and, like people expected the Rams and the Packers to be good, like really better than the Rams and the Packers. They are in those top elite team conversations. They are led by Joe Burrow and a quarterback who I doubted a lot as the first overall pick, and the dude is blowing it out of the water. Go make a big move. Like the fans are waiting. I'm waiting. Go make a move. Go grab somebody. And I know People are going to hop in the comments on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, wherever you see this clip at, and they're going to be like, oh, we did make moves. Look at Henderson. Look at the O-line. I get that. Look at the progress of the season. Look at some of your numbers. I know numbers aren't everything, but in terms of the sacks, that's a cold, hard number. Okay? We can't unsee that, and we know that that's a problem right now for Cincinnati.